Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our advanced Bible study night, the 9th of January, 2024. We'll be dealing with the temple scrolls that's within the Dead Sea Scrolls. It has some information I wanted to shine light on within that book. Okay, we're going to go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have a lot of videos on our channel, over 700. You can go there. These videos connect dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. And for those who want to support the channel or see it move along, Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. Okay. And pertaining to our hours of operation, the times that we're on Tuesday nights, we have our advanced Bible study, which is from 8 to 10 Central Time. Then we come back on Wednesday nights for reading through the Tanakh. We read through the Old Testament, chapter by chapter. That's on from 8 to 10 Central Time on Wednesday nights. We have our Women's Advanced Bible Study night on Thursday night, which is from 8 to 10 Central Time. And then we come back on Fridays, and we on Clubhouse. We have our Men's Advanced Bible Study. Just for everybody, you can come in and listen in, but some men's Bible study. So then we come back on Saturday. We have two Sabbath classes. One in the morning. Morning Shabbat is from 10 to 12 a.m. Central Time. Then we come back, close out the Sabbath on Saturday nights from 6 to 7. But that's Saturday evenings. So with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel, and we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. Okay. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our advanced Bible study. Okay. We're going to do our moment of silence, or we'll read the Psalms, prayer, do some current events, and then we'll go into our need to know information and open up for some Q&A. Then we go into our topic, which is temple scroll. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts, and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we come this day, bow down, honoring You, praising You, and believing in You. And we thank You for Your wisdom and Your knowledge that You have poured out upon us. And through Your prophets, You reveal the times that we as Jacob's children would endure the tribulation. Keep us, O Lord, guide us and deliver us. And we see You now within the Holy Scriptures, O Lord, and we trust You with all our heart and all our soul, keeping out that silence, but shine forth over our enemies with Thy great power and Thy great glory. Peace be unto You. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to go into some more current events. Okay.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I want you guys to see a very powerful video from the Syrian president, guys. And he made this public speech to what looks like, Syrian politicians. And during this speech, he decides to talk about the Holocaust, okay, and what the so-called Jewish people went through, right? But in this speech, guys, he makes a very, very important comment that everyone has to hear. He reveals the true identity of the so-called Jewish people, guys, okay? And it is exactly like I have been talking about on my channel. Those people are not the real Jews. They are Khazars who converted into Judaism, okay? So this is further proof of what I have been teaching on my channel, okay? So guys, here is the video. It's not too long. It's like 2 minutes or less, okay? So here is the video. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad.
أغلبنا لا يعرف.
Okay, so let me pause it right here. We'll just read as it goes, okay? Most of us do not know that the rise of Nazism between the two world wars
صعود النازية بين الحرب العالمية الأولى والثانية
happened with American support.
وكان بدعم أمريكي. الكل يتساءل طيب كيف؟
The question on everyone's mind is,
كيف كان هناك انهيار أو
how is it that despite the German collapse and European constraints,
وقيود أوروبية كيف سمحوا
Nazism was allowed to rise and build an army?
للنازية بالصعود وتأسيس جيش بالدعم الأمريكي؟
It was done with American support, money, loans, and investment, guys. Okay, this is something that many people don't realize. Okay, prior to the end of World War I, America was actually pro-Germany. Many people don't know this. Okay, that didn't change until the British made a deal with the Jewish people, the Jewish community, to sign the Balfour Declaration, that illegal document that somehow gives those Khazarians rights over Palestine, okay? Very highly illegal document, okay? Once that was signed, America switched places. The Jewish people used their media, their newspapers, their radio, all their influence over American media to now push the narrative that the Germans were bad guys. When just a few weeks before, they were friendly with the Germans, guys, okay? Crazy stuff.
بالأموال الأمريكية بالقروض بالاستثمارات 6 ملايين.
Now, he has gone into talk about the Holocaust. Now, let's see what he has to say. There is no evidence that 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
أي دليل بأن هناك 6 ملايين يهودي قتلوا.
Perhaps there were Holocausts. No one denies it. He's not saying that people didn't die, but he's doubting the figure. That 6 million number, he believes, like a lot of people, guys, that number is gravely exaggerated to make the Jewish people, the Khazarians, look more like victims, guys.
حصلت محارق لا أحد ينفيها وهناك معسكرات اعتقال.
True, there were concentration camps.
صحيح ولكن الدليل
But what shows you that this is a politicized issue
على أن هذا الموضوع مسيس وليس إنساني
and is not a humanitarian issue and is not real. So he's telling you that the Holocaust, while people definitely did die, it has been exaggerated so much. The events of that Holocaust has been exaggerated by the Khazarians so much that it's not even real, guys.
ولا حقيقي. كيف نتحدث عن 6
How can we talk about these 6 million, the Jewish people, right?
ملايين ولا نتحدث عن 6
but not about the 26 million Soviets killed in that war.
26 مليون سوفيتي قتلوا في تلك الحرب يعني 6 ملايين أغلب.
Are those 6 millions more precious? Well, to the Khazarians, yes, they are. To the Khazarians.
لا الممارسات
The same acts were everywhere, guys.
نفسها كانت على كل الاتجاهات. لم يكن هناك
There was no method of torture or killing specific to Jewish people, guys. Damn.
كطرق قتل مختصة باليهود ولا طريقة تعذيب مختصة باليهود في كل الأماكن.
The Nazis used the same method everywhere, guys. Okay, they killed all kind of people, from the Rhineland bastards, who were all these mulatto children that were born from Negro and a Caucasian parent in Germany. Many of them were wiped out. Many other people too were wiped out, okay? What he's saying here, the methods that were used to kill the so-called Jewish people are no different from the methods that were used to kill many, many other people.
نفس الطريقة استخدمتها النازية ولكن القضية هي
However, this issue was politicized, guys.
قضية مسيسة ولتزوير
in order to falsify the truth and later to prepare for what?
حقيقة ولاحقا للتمهيد لنقل
for the transfer of the Jews from Europe to other areas, specifically Palestine.
اليهود من أوروبا باتجاه مناطق أخرى هي فلسطين.
Or rather to Palestine.
اليهود الذين أتوا.
Okay, guys, here is the big part that we've been waiting for, guys. This is the big part of the speech. Listen to what he says on the screen. He says, the Jews who came to Palestine are Khazar Jews from east of the Caspian Sea. This is talking about Eastern Europe now, guys. Okay, let's see what else it says.
إلى فلسطين هم يهود
this information is known.
هم وثنيون.
They were pagans who called.
Okay.
Century, okay? Everyone look over. This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. The truth is coming out like crazy.
تبعوا الديانة اليهودية في القرن الثامن الميلادي هاجروا إلى أوروبا
They immigrated to Europe and from there came to this region.
إلى هذه المنطقة لا يوجد أي علاقة بينهم.
They have nothing. Listen to this, guy. This is powerful. They have nothing, absolutely nothing to do whatsoever with the ancient people of Israel, guys. Okay? They are counterfeits. Fake. Come on. That's powerful. Very powerful stuff, guys. Okay, and we heard it from the mouth of the Syrian president. Okay, but here's my opinion, guys. I'm going to say one extra thing that he may not know. Okay, let me tell you one thing about this. I made a comment in my last video that these white Arabs, whom, by the way, this man is part of, that they are they are Khazars, okay? And I still stand by that point, okay? This guy may not be aware of this, but most of them there, right, these white-looking Arab people, these white Syrians, most of them are, in fact, Khazars as well, but they may not be aware of this relationship, guys, okay? They might see themselves as separate from the rest of the Khazars, okay? But they are Khazars. It's time for all of us to wake up, guys. It's time for all of us to wake up and stop being played. Whether you are a Negro, whether you are an Aryan or Caucasian, whatever it is, it's time to wake up. We have all been played for a long time, and we are still being played today. These Khazars run Hollywood. They run the media conglomerate, all the major networks, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, you name it. Khazars run it all, okay? So if you're one of those dumbasses that is, only beholding to what CNN says, you're a dumbass. If you are only beholding to what Fox News says, you're a dumbass. If you're only beholding to what MSNBC or any of these other networks say, you are a dumbass. The Khazarians will eventually dominate whatever new independent media rises up, right? Because that's the thing that many of these new media networks are trying to prove, right? Oh, we are independent. We are not controlled by one side or the other. Well, guess what? Eventually, those networks will need donations, need investments. And then the Khazars will show up and say, hey, we want to invest in your company. And once you start allowing their money come into your company, eventually, they will control your entire company, guys. Okay, that is what money is. Money has power behind it. When a Jewish person is investing in your company, it's going to affect what you are allowed to say about the people who are putting money into your company. You won't be able to speak truthfully about them when they are the ones that are keeping your lights on, guys. That is a fact, okay? So many of these so-called independent news media, they are not truly, guys, okay? Initially, they might be independent, initially. But after a while, the Khazars invest in them and eventually control the entire networks, guys. That is what they do. That is how the Khazars move, guys, okay? They do not allow people to have independence for long from them. No, they seek to dominate everything and everyone around them, guys, okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but my channel now offers members.
Okay, any comments on that?
Shalom.
Okay.
I just want to know when when Solomon was building the second temple that was designed by King David, and the people that came upon wanting to help build, were they the Khazars or what background they were?
Those are Edomites.
Okay, so the Khazars and the Edomites don't look alike, or they're totally different?
There's two nationality of people. Esau is Jacob's brother that was born, you know, Jacob, he's a Edomite. He's an Edomite through, he was raised by Abraham, but he's an Edomite. And then you got Jacob, which is an Israelite. Then you have the Khazars. How the Khazars came in contact with Judaism is Esau went and proselytized. He went and showed them, gave them knowledge of the Israelite culture. That's why they call converts. So you're dealing with three different nationality of people. You're dealing with Israelites, Edomites, and Khazarians. And the Khazars are in Genesis chapter 10, the Ashkenazis. That's like today when you go to Israel, that's the majority of was the guy just saying, the Syrian president. They came from Khazar to the land of Israel. So that's about 90% of the people that's over there that's called Israelis is Khazarians.
Thank you.
Convert. Somebody else. Okay, let's go to next one. Let me see how I want to do this. Okay, let me go here first.
And let this happen. It's going to be a fight. It might be a rough. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be diving into this conversation about what is happening with the US dollar. We have to keep our eyes on these things because it's very significant to our lives and how they can change quickly. I think a lot of people are already aware that the dollar is in trouble. So we're going to be getting into this topic and asking that you all join in, of course. There's a whole lot to be said about this, not only from a natural standpoint, but a biblical standpoint as well. From a biblical standpoint as well. We all know that some things have been prophesied very, very clearly concerning this current world economy. And so you got to know that at some point this stuff has to start unraveling. And don't we see it happening? Don't we see it happening? I know I do. I'm paying attention, and I hope you are too. Unfortunately, the majority of the world is not paying attention. A lot of people are, I would say, trying to hold out hope that things are going to bounce back, right? Some people are thinking that it's going to bounce back because they want it to bounce back, but that is not how it works. That is not how it works. But we are going to be talking about how exactly the BRICS nations plan on doing this thing that they want to do. They are literally, and they swear it too, they swear to kill US dollar dominance this year. But we got to know it's not going to come without a fight. Don't think for one moment that America is going to just lay down and let this happen. It's going to be a fight. And it might be a rough one. But whatever side of this you are on, I hope you're paying attention. And I hope you realize that things are changing fast. How many of y'all can feel that? How many of you can see it? If you open up the pages of the Bible, it's right there. That's right. Unity says, let's pray. Yeah, let's pray. Even though we know these things are going to happen, it is very important that we pray to the Most High to show us and teach us how to navigate through all of this. Huh? How do we navigate through all of this? And that's definitely my prayer, and the prayer that I have for my family and for you all as well, to teach us how to navigate through all of this. So I'm going to be getting into some of the details of this thing that is unfolding right before our eyes. And a lot of people don't even see how important this is, because I remember one fellow told us years ago, they could never, no one could ever topple the dollar, right? I wonder if he still feels the same way. This was said some years ago, so I wonder if he still feels the same way after looking at all of the stuff that's happening. So anyway, I'm going to get into this story concerning the BRICS nations. It says they swear to kill U.S. dollar dominance this year in 2024. So how is that going to affect us? It says the BRICS nations are steadfastly advancing their mission to end the dominance of the U.S. dollar. Following the expansion of the alliance to 10 nations in August of 2023, these countries have ramped up their efforts to conduct trade in local currencies and are in the process of developing a BRICS currency aimed squarely at reducing the hegemony of the US dollar in the global markets. I don't know if y'all picked up on something, but it says aimed squarely at reducing the hegemony of the US dollar in global markets. So let me just break away from the article for just one moment here. So they have a goal, and their goal is not just to have a BRICS dollar. Notice it didn't say nothing. Oh, we just want to have a currency, not dollar, but a BRICS currency. We just want to be in the game too with a BRICS currency. They didn't say that that was their goal. Their goal is a lot deeper than that. They said aimed squarely. In other words, their goal is to take down the dominance of the US dollar. That's the goal. A takedown. Oh my goodness. This stuff is happening so fast. It's happening fast, family. So you have Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they have a goal, and they are working together. Jasmine asks, is that South Africa up there? Yes. That S at the end of BRICS, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Listen, y'all, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they did that by design. Because look at it, BRICS. Ain't that something? Minnie Mar in the chat says that BRICS has a bank in South Africa, and it's nice too. Interesting. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they don't already have banks in Brazil, Russia, India, and China as well. But if that's their goal is to take down. One thing that I want to say is it won't go down without a fight. America is not just going to just sit back and let this happen. It's not going to happen without a fight. But all of these nations seem to be now confederate. You know, it makes you think about the Bible when it says you reap what you sow. So even though some of these nations were a part of, being confederate against our people, I don't want anyone to get the mind.
Did I just build?
Unstoppable and thinking that it's not possible. Huh? There may be challenges, but at some point, y'all got to know they're going to break through that glass ceiling. You got to know that they are going to remove the challenges. That's what we've got to keep in mind, especially since we know that Bible prophecy must be fulfilled. Minnie Mars in the chat says, when Russia forgave all of Africa's debt with them, that's when it was game over for the United States. So I can see that. I can see that as well, because everybody else is still trying to put their foot on the necks of these African countries. But Russia is like, okay, we're going to pull back, because they made a major chess move. They said, okay, all of this stuff with thinking that you're going to just belittle Black people and that they should continue to support you, and they have all of the resources and all of this is happening for them and all of that, and you think that you're going to keep your foot on their necks. Russia said, you know what, we ain't going to be a part of that. As a matter of fact, let's wipe the slate clean. Do you all remember when I talked about this last year, I think, or the year before, where America and the West, some countries in the West, came forward saying, oh, you better be careful dealing with Russia and China because blah, blah, blah. They just might do this, that, and the third. And I said to myself, that had me buffering back then before I started using the term I'm buffering, right? That truth about that, when you start speaking about it, huh? When you start talking about it, they want to deflect and project and say that you sound HATEFUL, because you're pointing out the fact that they have been tripped out towards so-called Black people all around this planet. They've been stealing, killing, and destroying, right? They've been doing all of that. And now that we have platforms and we can speak on these things, and we can now say, I see you. I see you. I see what you've done. I see what you're doing. I'm going to talk about it. I don't like it. The Most High God of heaven, as the world calls him, don't like it either. You reap what you sow. You can't continue this. You've got to stop. If you don't stop, if you don't repent, the Most High God of heaven, as the world calls him, is going to deal with you, because you have to reap what you have sown. When we start talking like that, huh? When we start talking like that, folk don't like it. They don't like it.
Okay. Any comments on that? Yeah, so they're expecting the dollar to go to the downhill in 2024. And the way it's looking, it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Okay. So I want to shine a light on something that I came across this morning that I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know if anybody know about it, but they're supposed to have this big conference in Ghana on the 7th. It was sponsoring Dr. Arikana, Dr. Mumba, the PLO leader, Malumba, and the EF guy in South Africa, Milano, or whatever his name is. They all revolutionists, and they believe in, pushing the youth, the African youth, and Africa rise. And then there's one more guy included in it. I can't think his name, but anyway, it was held in this big civic center in Ghana. It was scheduled last year, and for January 7th. Anyway, it was called at the last minute. The Ghanaian president called it off, and all the people that showed up from America and all over the continent of Africa, even right now they're in an uproar because they want to know why he closed it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play because there's a lot going on with it. So I'm gonna play a little bit of after they canceled it, all the people was already there. They decided to have a press conference, so they had a press conference. I'm gonna play some of that, and then we'll go from there.
Recently, I posted a video about the convention conference that was canceled, that was being held at Independence Square. And since then, there have been so many people who are trying to figure out why it got canceled, trying to get more information. And so today, I wanted just to share with you a few clips that are from a press conference that happened, telling the reasons why it may have been canceled, and also the speakers also sharing why they wanted to be part of the event. And we also find out that Freedom Jacob Caesar, Kwame Bediako, known as Cheddar, has announced his intentions to run for political office in Ghana. Would love to hear your thoughts on what you think about all of this that's been happening over the last few days. For those who may not know and may have not seen the previous video, there was an event called the convention scheduled to happen at Independence Square in Ghana. There were so many people who came from around the world, from across Africa, from across Ghana, to come and hear these people speak. And unfortunately, it got canceled at the last minute. People were already there and finding out from the police and military that it was canceled. So this is a follow-up to that video. If you haven't seen that first video, the link is in the description so that you can take a look at it. So yeah, so let me know what you think about all of this. And then here are a few clips from the press conference that was shared with me that I wanted to share with you. Some of you may have already seen it before, but I know that there's many of you out there who follow my page who may not have seen it. So here are some clips from the press conference after the cancellation.
If you're an older adult wanting to learn guitar, I have a question for you. What's the difference?
The event was cancelled is because the young man who was sponsoring it is a millionaire, and he has political ambitions. And I said, well, that's a mystery. So I felt I should address this because some of you journalists may have heard that as well. I can tell you as clearly and plainly as I can that I never heard the conversation about him being a millionaire. I never had a conversation about him having political ambitions. The time that I've spent with him has been more to do with entrepreneurship. So for those who are saying we're here to support him, further his political ambition, that is a damn lie. Certainly, from my interactions with him, I don't know about whether he told Professor.
So before we go any further, this guy that she's talking about is they had a man. I didn't know it until I found out this morning, but they had a guy that was on going around to Africa wearing a mask. He had a mask on, one of those masks, that African masks like the people in Benin had made. He had it on. He was a mask, like a masked man, but nobody knew who he was. And everybody wanted to know who was the man behind the mask, right? So keep that in mind.
So that I don't know if you told my brother or Peter that. I might want them to clearly state that whether that conversation ever took place. But the interactions I've had with Ghana have been about entrepreneurship and the possibilities of what we can do if the African youth could be empowered, and how we can raise money to support African youth so they can build the African movement. That's all the conversation. Anything else, I do not know. But I felt I should let all of you journalists know, because I'm sure you're going to hear the same rumor that I just heard. These are the conversations I've had with my son. And I'll tell you one more thing. When the invitation came, Professor can tell me, I didn't know myself, but I had to do homework. What got me to accept the invitation is his age. And the Because if we do not support our youth, then who is going to support them? I hired a young man one time, he said, "Doctor, nobody wants to hire me because I have no experience. But how do I get experience if I don't get a job to begin with?" I said, "Son, I accepted the invitation from Nana, not because I knew him, but because of his age and the amazing things that he's doing at such a young age. It is that plain and simple. Anything else, I love.
It is about our entrepreneurship. I met him again by Prof who invited me, and I got a call from him. I said, "He's around somewhere in Lagos. Can you come and visit me?" I said, "No, I'll come and visit you." And he was telling me about it. He said, "Since you're thinking about it, I'll come and visit you." I surprisingly, on arrival in Accra today, a young lady came from that day. I work with youth entrepreneurship. And I want you to talk about entrepreneurship. I said, "We are coming to Ghana to talk about entrepreneurship." And you just asked me a question: how do we start entrepreneurship among the youth crowd? I said, "Fight one, corruption." And you look at me. I said,
So anyway, this guy, his name is, you want to do some research on him. I think there's something going on with that, but his name is Nana. I can't pronounce his last name. It's Nana, Nana. His last name is Bediako. And then not only that, he got a brother, two of them, and they call him Jacob Caesar. But anyway, in the process of them calling the show off, calling off this convention and all that, and stopping it was because of him. And then come to find out, this guy Nana is the man had the mask on. So I want you to hear what he got to say.
"Has come from agricultural food. Maryland without water. With water is for the 3,000 is occupied by criminals." Yes. Because that state can generate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here you go.
On the news, the power companies may successfully ban this.
Right. 21 years of my life, I have been serving the nation, working so hard just to become an example of what wealth looks like.
I think he's something like his late 30s.
Comes from wisdom. Comes from
Billionaire.
You need to get this value from your own surroundings. I grew up partly in Ghana, partly in England, and I came back to Africa. 2001. Unlike Martin Luther, I did not have a dream. I had a vision. I started watching the youth in the streets and the roads, the rules and the regulations, the conditions and the constitutions that is depleted and embedded on us as Africans. I had to walk on a different path, and I was alone. My investment on the roads became a landmark. And whatever I invested on this landmark is a footprint. I am here for a legacy. I am part of your historians.
I am.
I know many people want to see the true side of me. I know you know Nana Kwame, but I know you're still looking for freedom, Jacob Caesar. Yes, I am Ray Christian, and I'm here. I'm not here to take your value. I'm here to add value to you. I discovered that the land that we belong to had so much wealth that until we turn it into our own, our economy will never be sustainable. And we cannot forever live in our countries with a box economy. I needed to create a middle income economy without being a part of the government. Why so?
because I believe it's part of my responsibility. I took a different path. My movement, my foundation, my group, and all of these have acquired some wealth. But the wealth that I reinvest back into society, it has become a part of my mission to make this change. I believe that I belong to Africa. I am a son of this soil, and I can add value to humanity. And I came here to do that. I came here to add value to this world and to nature. I am not going to leave here without God even being proud of me. And when I'm not here also, I want you to remember that I came. And I want my absence to be felt. And for that reason, I know you're looking for the man. And the man in the mask is sitting in front of you. I came to you as your salvation. I don't invest in myself alone. I am investing in you. And truly, these innocent leaders sitting beside me, also I will not go to them and tell them that, hey, I am a man in a mask and I want you to come to Ghana to support me to do this and this. And this man of this dignity and this woman with such power will say, yes, I'm going to follow you to come to Ghana to do your convention and all of that. No. It is part of the movement. We need to educate. We need to uplift our children. We need to voice out to them. If you are about to find out about this man in the mask, because I never spoke a word, you were looking for me. I didn't tell you whether I am into politics, whether I am an evangelist, whether I am a conventionist or a revolutionist. After this day, you will have to wait for me to share my policies and my visions with you. And if I'm the reason why the country or the government is not happy about these great voices coming to educate not only Ghana, but also Africa, then I'll take this moment to sacrifice myself, to unveil myself, because I have much respect for these great leaders beside me. It would have taken my own time to tell you that I am. But for this very moment, I am sacrificing myself to let you know that I'm that man. And I'm that man with a good purpose, with a great vision. I have a plan and I have a vision for this nation. And not only this nation, I have it for Africa too. But I know Africa is the next biggest thing, because out of all the continents that have been developed in this world, there is only one continent that is not developed. And I am sent to do that. I am not interested in people's positions. I am not interested in presidential positions. I am interested in the regions and the humans. I am interested in the countries. I am interested in the continent, the resources here, the human resources here, the great opportunities to be able to prove a point to the world that this is what we can make out of ourselves as a Black society. We have been doomed and disrespected and undervalued by everybody in the Western world. My pain is in my heart and I can't express it to you, so I let my actions speak for me. I want to thank you very much for this moment. I want to thank the greatest leaders. Your voice will not and will never leave us as Africans. And it's the beginning of a new Africa. A new.
Okay. Any comments on that? Yeah, you're gonna see him again. There's something going on with that. Anybody got any comments on it? Yeah, so his name is Nana, Bediako. Yeah, so check it out. Hopefully next time tomorrow or Thursday, somebody have some, find out some more on this going on with that. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything? Everybody Everybody good? Okay, I'm gonna play this right here. We're going to lesson.
Bible concerning the fate of the Holy Land and its people, as the end of times draws near, Israel has always held a significant place in prophecy. There are 3 prophetic events in Israel on the horizon that have the potential to reshape history. Many believe that we are currently witnessing the fulfillment of these predictions. Are you prepared for these momentous prophetic events that could define this century? In this video, we guarantee that you will be amazed by the incredible events unfolding in Israel at this very moment. From the fulfillment of ancient prophecies to mind-blowing revelations, we invite you to close your eyes and step through the magic door to explore what is happening in Israel. But before you do, remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. One of the most crucial prerequisites for building the third temple is the birth of the red heifer. According to biblical teachings, a new temple, the third temple, will be constructed at some point to fulfill several prophecies related to the second coming of Christ. The first temple, built by Solomon, was destroyed in 586 BC, while the second temple, constructed during the return from Babylonian captivity, was expanded and renovated by King Herod. However, it was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD.
So right here they putting Zerubbabel temple and Herod temple together. So that way it's gonna make it third temple. And I showed you how to break down on that. Solomon built the temple, Zerubbabel built one, then Herod built one. They didn't put Zerubbabel temple along with Herod to make them one temple so they can make this prophecy work.
The Bible indicates that the third temple will exist during the Great Tribulation, and various passages mention its significance. The question arises, when will the temple be rebuilt? The Bible does not explicitly answer this question, but it states that the temple will be in existence when the Antichrist reveals himself and during the tribulation. Some speculate that the temple will likely be rebuilt before the tribulation begins, considering the time required for such a magnificent structure. However, others propose the possibility of erecting a tent temple similar to the Tabernacle of Moses as a temporary solution. The Temple Institute has made preparations for this, including training Levitical priests, creating ritual garments and vessels, and even breeding the red heifer for the purification rituals. Another question is the location of the temple. It must be built where the previous temple stood, with the Holy of Holies in the exact same spot. However, there is ongoing controversy regarding the exact location, whether it is on the Temple Mount or even north or south of it. While many scholars believe the previous temples were situated where the Dome of the Rock now stands, there is currently no conclusive evidence without conducting archaeological excavations on the Temple Mount. The current prohibition by Muslims and national laws prevents the construction of the third temple in the location of the Dome of the Rock. To proceed with building the temple, the Muslim structure would need to be removed, either through human intervention or a divine act.
Okay.
You're not going to get psychological depth.
That the Dome of the Rock could be destroyed by means such as a missile strike or an earthquake. While many secular Jewish people in Jerusalem and nearby areas have reservations about building the third temple due to the expected conflict with Muslims, there is a growing group of Orthodox Jews and Christians who passionately advocate for its construction. The Temple Institute has made significant preparations for the temple, and certain events, such as the discovery of the Ark of the Covenant, could ignite nationalistic pride and a demand for a new temple. The exact location of the ancient temples is also a subject of controversy, with some evidence suggesting they were situated to the north of the Dome of the Rock. In a potential solution, the third temple could be built north of the dome, placing the dome in the court of the Gentiles. The Antichrist may exploit this situation during negotiations for peace between Jews and Arabs. The birth of a suitable red heifer, which is a prerequisite for the temple's construction, has yet to be confirmed. The third temple could initially take the form of a tent temple, similar to the tabernacle of Moses, with a more permanent structure eventually built around and above it. However, during the middle of the tribulation, the Antichrist will desecrate the temple. The Battle of Armageddon, a widely speculated event associated with immense armies and devastation, will occur at the end of the 7-year tribulation period. All nations will gather to defeat and destroy the Jews and Jerusalem. The return of Christ, also known as the Second Coming, will coincide with this battle.
Okay, so I got a question. So, wondering why I'm letting that play. So, I showed you how that Solomon built the temple and the battle Nebuchadnezzar destroyed it. And they went in captivity for 70 years and they came back, Zerubbabel and Joshua, and they rebuilt the temple, Zerubbabel's temple. And Antiochus came and destroyed their temple. And then Herod came. So it's impossible that Herod added on to Zerubbabel's temple. Just like Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Solomon's temple, Antiochus destroyed Zerubbabel's temple. Then Herod came. Herod was a builder. Herod was an architect and all that. He built it. He built the third temple. And then, just like the Creator said in Daniel chapter 11, verse 14, Esau came in, the robbers of thy people shall pick up the vision, but they shall fall. That's Daniel chapter 11, verse 14. So what vision? They built the temple. Herod built it. Herod the Edomite. And then the Romans came in 70 AD, ran them out and sent them to Spain. Okay, just like he said, they built a temple and he destroyed that temple, just like he destroyed Solomon temple and Zerubbabel temple. But this is the trick. Everybody that supposedly awakened know the people that's over there in the land of Israel cannot build a creator or Yahweh, nothing to do with Israelites. They can't build no temple. They can build one, but it don't have shit to do with Israelites. It don't have nothing to do with the God of Israel. Because we know they did that back when Zerubbabel and Nehemiah came back. They came and offered their assistance to help them build the second temple. And Zerubbabel and Joshua and them told them, we're going to build this temple. You have nothing to do with it. You have nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with the building of the temple. Nothing to do with our God. So that's why they tricked off this Zerubbabel temple. Because so they can bring in the Antichrist. So they can bring back the second coming of JC. But if you understand what happened, then that ain't nothing but hot air. Because first of all, for people, we know the people that's over there ain't the real Israelites. So how in the hell they gonna build a third temple? They ain't the real people. So that should be red flags for anybody that's searching the truth out right there. We can't build no temple to the Creator. Okay. So I thought I'd shine a light on that. I was looking at it this morning. Okay. Any comments on that? If I got any questions or comments on it? Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna go into our topic for discussion, and it's the Temple Scrolls. And if you know anything about the Dead Sea Scrolls, they supposedly found all these scrolls over in Qumran caves over in the Dead Sea. And one of those scrolls was called the Temple Scrolls. And so, like I said before, if you're not aware of it, that these people then humiliated and torn and desecrated our scriptures. Same way that because our forefathers turned their back on our Lord, on Creator, and on our Redeemer, and he turned his back on them. Just like Moses told him, he scattered them. But not only did he scatter them, he scattered our scriptures, because of part of the scattering is for us to lose our heritage and lose our way and lose our understanding. So not only did the Israelite get scattered, but the scriptures got scattered too. You find bits and pieces in all over the place, stuck off in these so-called canonical books that they made for the New Testament. That it's about having discernment and being in the right place, dealing with the right people to get the truth of it. Okay, so this temple scroll is talking about the responsibilities of the priests and the Levites, and not only them, but the Israelites on how to move around, because it's been taken out of King James. So I'm gonna just read some of it, and then we'll just discuss it. Okay, let me get it. So these like instructions that was given to David, to the high priest, and to the Levites, and then it was passed on like that. So, like I said, it's been integrated, so we will have an understanding of it. So I'm just gonna kind of skip through it. This book I got right here is Dead Sea Scrolls by Charles Worth. It's Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek text with English translation, temple scrolls, and related documents. So it says, and wine for liquor. Let me get back, try to get some kind of continuity with this. It says on the 15th day of this month, there shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall not do any or laborious work on it. It is the feast of unleavened bread, 7 days for Yahweh, and ye shall present every single day for the 7 days a burnt offering to Yahweh, 2 bulls, a ram, 7 yearling lambs, unblemished, and a billy goat for a purification offering, and their meal offering, and their liquor offering according to the precept for the bulls, and for the rams, and for the lambs, and for the goats on the 7th day. Then it says, for Yahweh, ye shall not do any laborer's work on it. So the 7 days for Yahweh. That's the reason you don't supposed to work, because it's his day. It ain't none of your day. So, okay, it says at 14 for this is a ram that same day, and they shall supposedly, they got misprints up in here. Parts was missing, but we know that was to keep us from trying to keep us from understanding. And they shall present goat for a purification offering in the order to atone, and its liquor offering according to the precept, the 10th of Samala. I guess that's some kind of liquor. It says, and the wine for a liquor offering, a 4th of a hin for all the people of the assembly from all their guilt. For this shall be for them eternal statutes for dwelling, and afterwards they shall offer up a ram once in a year on the day of the elevating of the sheaf. That's the Day of Atonement. And ye shall count 7 complete Sabbaths from the day ye bring in the sheaf of the elevation offering. Ye shall count until the morning after the Sabbath day, that you shall count. So that's, I told you, the Jubilee. 7 times 7 is 49. And the 50th year of the Jubilee. Say, you shall count the days, ye shall bring a new meal offering for Yahweh from your dwelling. 11 bread, the first fruit offering of Yahweh, wheat bread, 10th of the Semelina, shall ye in each load. And it says, in the clans of the tribes of Israel, and they shall offer. Okay. In the morning, evening, noon, and in the noon and the evening. And the burnt offering, 12 according to the precepts, and the priest shall elevate the first fruits, and they shall be for the priest, the bread of the first fruits, and afterwards juicy grain and ripe grain, and thus in this day shall be eternal statutes. Notice the eternal statutes for their generations. All laborers work. It is the feast of the weeks and the feast of the first fruits for a memorial forever. And ye shall count for yourselves from the day you bring in the new meal offering to Yahweh, bread of the first fruit, 7 weeks, 7 complete weeks, 49. It says, until the day after the 7th Sabbath, and ye shall count to the 15th day, and ye shall present fresh wine for a liquor offering for 4 hens from all the clans of Israel, a third of a hen of a half each clan, and they shall present with the wine on this day 12 rams from every head of 1,000 of Israel. Okay. Peace offering, 14. And after the burnt offerings, they shall prepare them their suit that shall be burned upon the altar, and all the soup which is upon the entrails, the kidneys, ye shall remove, and the soup upon them, and the entrails, the fat near the base of the spine, and that we talked about this, and it shall burn with their meal offering and a liquor offering, a fire offering, pleasing scent, and ye shall present all the meal offering with which is presented liquor offering according to the precept. So notice how, which I never heard it about the liquor offering, right? So go back to what he told them about if they keep his law, statutes, and judgments, they're gonna receive everything 100-fold. So we see how he said he get on the fruit of the vine, that's the wine. So we see now when you go to the church house, and it's like it's frowned upon to drink wine, get married, be joyful with wine. But we see right here, he the one producing the wine for not only for him, but they have to offer some of it to him. Just like they have to offer the animals, they have to offer the wine to him too. Go back to the story of David when he brought the ark to Jerusalem. Right? He had the flagon of wine, and he danced out his clothes. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So here we go right here. I want to read this here. This is what the part I wanted to deal with was about the animals. Let me get it. It's start right here. It says their guilt for the people, and with burnt offerings for their meal offerings, and for the burnt offerings upon the altar, the burnt offerings in the wall of this house are niches a cubit by cubit, and their height from the ground shall be 4 cubits. Let me get past that. It says, and when they enter to serve the holy place, this is the Levites, when they enter to serve the holy place, and ye shall make a channel around the basin next to the altar of the burnt offering, running under the basin, and a drain running downward toward the midst of the ground, through which the water shall pour through it, disappearing into the midst of the ground, and no human shall touch it, because the blood of the burnt offering mixed in it of the entering, and at that time, and that which we be upon them, a place and placing the house of the basin, and for the basin they shall approach the basin to go out by it to sanctify the gate by wearing the holy garments. Here you go right here. By wearing the holy garments in which they serve. They serve in these garments. So let's look at that. This part of what I'm trying to light on. So if you go to, I done been 1,000 times, was dealing with the suffering servant. Everybody want to make JC the suffering servant, right? So we in Isaiah 42. I mean Isaiah 42. They say Isaiah 43 is no 52. My bad, I'm tripping. Isaiah 52. They want to say that JC the suffering servant, right? But if you go to Isaiah 52, the last 3 verses, and it says it's a title over 13. 52 and 13 says the suffering of the Lord's servant, right? So that's going to lead you to 53, which is supposedly what a suffering servant is. But this says over verse 13, 52 and 13, the suffering of the Lord's servant. So let's see what the servant is. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and be extolled and be very high. As many was astonished at thee. His vestige. What vestige? The garments that I was just reading about. Because particular garments they have to wear. According to what's going on. It says, and many were astonished at thee. His vestige was more than any man, and his form more than the sons with an S on it. More than one, the suffering servant is more than one man. It says that the form of the sons of man, then 15. That's where the trick come in at. So shall he sprinkle many nations, and the kings shall shut their mouths at him, for that which they had not been told, they shall see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. So what do you mean by what they're gonna see? They're gonna see the real Israelites with the garments on, standing there with the Lord of hosts. When the time comes when he regather us, they gotta put those garments back on in order for them to do play their role. These same garments right here. I was just reading about it. Pick back up where I was at. It says, and they shall approach the basin and go out by it and sanctify the gate by wearing the holy garments in which they serve. Suffering servant. Right? The servant got to serve. So anyway, it says, and ye shall construct a house to the east of the house of the basin as the measurements of a house of the basin. The distance from the wall of one to the wall of another shall be 7 cubits, and it shall the whole structure and the ceiling shall be like the house of the basin, and 2 gates for it from its north and from the south, each opposite the other, as the measurements of the gate of the house of the basin. And this entire house, all its walls shall be made of windows blocked inside. Their width shall be 2 cubits by 2 cubits deep, and their height shall be 4 cubits, with double doors, chambers for the implements of the altar, for the bowls, for the libation cups, and the pans, and the silver receptacles with which they shall bring up the entrails and the legs to place them upon the altar. And when they finish burning, covered in the panel of bronze, and between each pillar, which is between the pillars. So what we're looking at right here, these basins and these libation cups, pans, silver receptacles, and all that. This is what Nebuchadnezzar took to Babylon. And then we know Belshazzar took these same dishes and stuff and had a party with it. And that's what happened. That's what brought Cyrus. He brought out all these holy vessels to the Lord. Like he said, this is what was going on with them. We was reading how part of the ram is for the Levites and part of the ram is for God. And so with those bowls and with those libation cups and pans, it says, upon which they shall bring up the entrails. So it's the part of the animal that belongs to the Lord. They bring it up to the altar, the legs, and place them upon the altar. So they was using these vessels right here, which is holy, for these different parts of the animal that they had to bring up to put on the altar. Okay, so this is what all this stuff is intricate that we don't know nothing about it, but this is what got us caught up. It says, and between each it says in the binding of the horns and the bulls to the rings and the ring with rings. Afterwards they shall butcher them, and they shall collect all the blood in the bowls, same bowls, and they shall sprinkle. Here you go. We just read that in 52. They shall sprinkle it. So ain't nobody else on the planet that sprinkle. Not even JC. Ain't numbers of Levites. Right? It says, and they shall sprinkle it upon the base of the altar all about, and they shall release the wheels and strip it off of the hide of the bull from their flesh, and flagging them into pieces, and salting the pieces with salt, and washing the entrails of the legs, and salting them with salt, and burning them up upon the fire which is on the altar, bull by bull, and its pieces next to it, and it shall its meal offering of semolina upon it, and the wine and its liquor offering next to it, and some of it upon it, and the priest, the sons of Aaron, shall burn everything. So we see right here, Levites is just assisting the sons of Aaron. They the ones burning everything on the altar. Upon the altar, fire offering, a pleasing scent before Yahweh, and ye shall make chains dangling from the ceiling of the 12 pillars to the holy of holies. Every man who is not, he shall be every man who is not holy, and he shall be anointed by it, and every man, and he is not a priest, he shall be put to death. And every man from among the Aarons who might enter in and is not wearing a holy garment, see that? Not wearing a holy garment, not being properly consecrated, they shall be also put to death. And they shall not profane the sanctuary of their God, and carrying the guilt of iniquity, punishable by death. And ye shall sanctify the area around the altar, the shrine, and the basin. And so this is where they moving around it when they doing all the sacrifices. It's only for certain people, right? That whole place situation, the whole area is holy to the Lord. It says that ye shall make the place to the west of the shrine, the surrounding presidio of standing pillars for the purification offering and for the guilt offering, separating this one from that one for the purification offering, and for the people, and for their guilt offering, and they shall not mix any of them the one and with the other, and their places shall be separated, this one from that one, that the priest shall not err in any purification offering of the people, and all the rams of the guilt offering in carrying, and the guilt of sin, the fowl he shall offer upon the altar, turtle dove, right, from the edge of the corner of the gate. The gate shall be wide 40 cubits for each of its sides according to the measurements, and the width of its wall shall be 7 cubits, and its height 5 cubic ceilings of it, the roof, and the width of its compartments 6 and 20 cubits from one side to the other side. And concerning the entrance gate and the exit gate, the width of the gate shall be 14 cubits, and the height 18 cubits for the threshold upon the lintel, and the height of the ceiling from the lintel shall be 14 cubits, and it shall be a roof with a cedar covered with pure gold, and the doors shall be covered with good gold. And from the corner of the gate to the second side of the court shall the 20 and 100 cubits, and thus shall be measured of all gates which shall be in the inner court, and the gates that shall be on the open side. So I was trying to go there. I want to read one more thing before I close out on this about these animals and how how to associate that with us today. It says, let me get it. Okay. I'm gonna read this right here. It says, and at its doors covered with gold, this court, this is all the assembly of the congregation in their midst, 14 generations from the age of 21 to worship before me, the entire congregation of the sons of Israel. A woman shall not enter into it, and a boy shall not enter until the day upon which he reaches the stature of his maturity, right? To Yahweh half a shekel as a memorial in their dwelling, 20 gerard shekels, and when they shall exit from half of the shekel, he shall vow to me. Afterwards, they shall enter from the age of 20 years and older, and the name of each of the gates which are in the court shall be according to the names of sons of Israel. And list the names. Okay, and let me get over here. You go to the garments again. 28 cubits from the gate to the gate of Levi shall be 99 cubits, and the gate shall be 28 cubits. From the gate of Levi, from the gate of Judah, to wear the garments, to be led in succession, sons of Israel, and they shall not die. Thus the court, and ye shall make a third court, and their daughters, and for the sojourners who were born in Israel, and with the width around the middle court shall be 600 cubits. Okay, so notice how everything got to be a certain way. It had to be precise. You know, if it wasn't, the Levites were punished for it. Okay, they don't find this on these animals. Okay. Okay. Let me read this. I might have to come back with those animals. I don't seem to see it. It says, it shall be impure, and the vessels of clay shall be impure, and all which is in them, for every purified man shall be impure, and open vessels shall be impure for every person from Israel, and any drink which is in them. And on the day they bring out the dead. So this when a person died. When a person died in Israel, everything that person had, it becomes impure. They had to clean it up. They had to clean it. So it says, and on the day they bring out the dead from it, they shall sweep the house from any defiled oil or any wine or dampness of water, its floors and its walls, and the doors they shall scrape, and its door bolts, and its door posts, and its threshold, and the lintels shall clean with water on the day on which the dead goes out from it. They shall purify the house and all its vessels, grinding stones, mortar, and all the vessels of wood, iron. So imagine that. So we constantly triple defiled. We want to know why we catch so much hell. Say, and the dead goes out from it, and they shall purify the house and all its vessels, grinding stones, mortar, and all the vessels of wood, iron, brass, and every vessel which is is theirs that can be purified, and garments and sackcloth goods and hides shall be cleansed. And a person, each one who is in the house, and each one who enters into the house shall wash in water and shall clean his garments on the first day. And on the third day he shall sprinkle upon them water of impurity, and they shall wash and clean their tunics and the vessels which are in the house. And on the seventh day they shall sprinkle the second time and wash and clean their garments, and they will purify and they shall be purified by evening. from the contamination of the dead person, and be able to touch all the pure things. And concerning a person who is not impure because of he has become impure, they shall no longer with their pure things until they sprinkle, they go to sprinkling again, sprinkle the second time on the seventh day, and they shall be pure by evening at the setting of the sun. And any man who touches in an open field the bones of a dead person, whether stabbed by a sword, or naturally dead, or the blood of a dead person, or a grave, then he shall be purified according to the statutes of this precept. And if one man is not purifying according to the precepts of this teaching, that person shall be impure, and his impurity shall remain. See that? So imagine that today. Yeah, or with him. And any person who touches him shall clean his garment and wash, and he shall be pure by evening. If a woman shall become pregnant, and her fetus dies within her womb, and all the days of it is dead, all the days that it is dead within her, she shall be impure as a grave. Each house which she might enter into shall become impure, as are all its vessels, for 7 days. And everyone who touches it shall be impure until evening. And if one enters into the midst of a house with her, that person shall be impure for 7 days, and he shall clean his garments and wash on the first day. On the third day, he shall sprinkle and clean his garments and wash. And on the seventh day, he shall sprinkle a second time and clean his garments and wash, and the sun shall set, and he shall be pure. And all the vessels and all the garments and all the hides and all of that is made of goat leather, ye shall wash with them according to the precept of this teaching. And all vessels of clay shall be shattered, because they are impure and cannot be purified again forever and ever. All swarming things of the ground shall be impure, the mole, the mouse, and the thorn-tailed lizard, and its kind, and the gecko. So imagine that, the gecko, commercial, he impure. So it says, and the lizard, and the cormorant, and the prolic, any man who touches them when they are dead, and all that issues from them when they are dead, because they are impure. And ye shall not make yourselves impure by them. And everyone touches them when they are dead shall be impure until the evening. And he shall clean his garments and wash in water, and the sun shall set, and he shall be pure. Anyone carrying parts of their bones or their carcass, hide or flesh or nails, he shall clean his garments and wash in water, and he shall set afterwards, and he shall be pure, and he shall abolish them. The sons of Israel to refrain from all such impurities, and they shall not make themselves impure by those things about which I am relating you on this mountain. And they shall be, this the Lord, I was talking to Moses, and they shall be impure. For I, Yahweh, am dwelling in the midst of the sons of Israel, and ye shall sanctify them. They shall be holy, and they shall not make detestable their souls by anything which have separated from them from as being pure. They shall be holy. Judges and officials ye shall appoint for yourselves in all your gates, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment, and they shall not show partiality in judgment, and they shall not take bribes, and they shall not distort judgment, because the bribes distort judgment and twist the words of the righteous and blind the eyes of the wise ones, and causing great guilt, thus making impure the courthouse by iniquity of sin. Righteousness, only righteousness ye shall pursue, for you shall live, ye shall enter, and ye shall inherit the land which I am about to give you to inherit it all the days. And the man who takes a bribe and distorts righteous judgment shall be put to death, and ye shall not be afraid of him. to put him to death. You shall not do in your land as the nations do. In every place they sacrifice and plant themselves cunic poles, and they raise up themselves megaliths and position carved stones to worship upon them, and they put them or they build them for themselves. That's what the Catholic Church is. That's the sign right there. That whole setup is pagan. And my altars which ye shall make for yourselves, and ye shall not raise up to yourselves megaliths, which I hate. That's all over Egypt, megaliths. Okay. And then it says, so you should stone shall not make for yourselves anywhere in your land to worship upon. And ye shall not sacrifice. Here you go right here. That's what I was trying to get to. It says, ye shall not sacrifice to me a cow or a sheep, which has on it any bad blemish, for they are abomination unto me. So this is what was going on. You know, they brought JC, supposed to came, and he went off in the temple when they with the animals. So it says, and ye shall not sacrifice to me a cow or a sheep which has on it a blemish, for they are an abomination to me. And ye shall not sacrifice to me a cow and a sheep and a goat that is pregnant. So I'm reading this for go back to that we the Israelites and go back to what was happening to us, what they were doing to the pregnant women. This right here, he got a problem with a pregnant goat. It says, ye shall not sacrifice to me a cow, a sheep, or a goat that is pregnant, for they are an abomination unto me. Then 60, ye shall not, check this out, ye shall not sacrifice a cow or a sheep. It and its offspring. So you can't sacrifice a female cow and then one of his offspring with it. So you say, what you talking about? So that's how precise they was. They had to, not only did they have to know the lineage of the sons of Israel, they had to know the lineage of these animals. They can't sacrifice a male goat and then one of his offspring with it. So it says, you shall not sacrifice a cow or a sheep, it and its offspring on the same day, and you shall not slay a mother. Come on. So look what these nut brothers did over here to his people. This right here is concerning the animals. They did this very same thing to Israelites. So it says, and so like I was saying before, we ain't got to do shit because they already set their judgment already by the things they done. Says with her offspring, all the firstborn which will be born among your cattle and among your flocks, the males you will sanctify to me. You will not work the firstborn of your cows, and you shall not shear the firstborn of your flock. See that? Come on, man. These animals, you're not supposed to sacrifice the firstborn. So that means they gotta have a record. You can't shear firstborn of the sheep. Okay? Your flocks before you. Now this is why we ain't got no damn flocks. So he says, before you shall eat, it's year by year in the place in which I would choose, and if there is a blemish in it, blindness or any bad blemish. So like I was saying to you before, where is at with the blind man? All these misfits all over Israel when JC came. Blind man begging for him to heal him. He blind. The Most High don't deal with that. It's disrespectful to him to have Israelites that's blind, born blind and lame. No, that's the people from the fallen angels when they came, from the mixing of angelic beings mixing with human blood. That's how you get the defects. So it says, what's that? Hello?
No, I was agreeing with you when you said that. Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So it says And if there is a blemish in it, lameness or blindness or any bad blemish, ye shall not sacrifice it to me. Within your gates ye shall eat it, impure and pure among you together, as if it were a gazelle or a ram. Only the blood ye shall not eat. You shall pour it upon the ground as water and cover it with dirt. And ye shall not muzzle a cow while it threshes. So they have muzzles on us. And ye shall not plow with a cow and a donkey together. And ye shall not sacrifice a cow or a sheep or a goat, those which are pure, within any of your gates near to my sanctuary, a distance of 3 days. For only within my sanctuary shall ye sacrifice it, making it a burnt offering or a peace offering. Then ye shall eat it. And ye shall rejoice before me in the place which ye shall choose to place my name upon it, and any domestical animal, which is pure, but upon which there is a blemish. Then your gates ye shall eat it at the distance from my sanctuary, a radius of 30 rads, whatever it is. Ye shall not slaughter it near my sanctuary, for unclean flesh it is. Ye shall not eat the flesh of a cow or a sheep or a goat in the midst of my city, which I am going to sanctify by placing my name in its midst, which shall neither enter in the midst of my sanctuary, and they shall sacrifice it there, and they shall sprinkle its blood upon the base of the altar for the burnt offering, and they shall burn it soup. I guess that's this hide, and desire the soul to eat flesh. Ye may eat the flesh, and you may slaughter from my flock and from my cattle, according to my blessing which I shall give to you, and ye shall eat it within the gates, both the pure and the impure among you together, as if they were gazelles. So yeah, so that's the part I wanted to shine light on. When you go back and you look at what these people did to us, we got stipulations on these animals. And when we was cast out of the land of Israel, amongst these Gentiles, they did the very same thing that he told us not to do to the animals. They did it to us. So like I said before, when you understand that we ain't got to do shit, all we got to do is sit back and wait. Most High is full of rage. And when that time comes, you're going to know it. Okay? So with that being said, anybody got comments or compliments or anything about what was, we talked about? Everybody good?
Yes, shalom.
Good too, Shalom.
As you were reading about the lizards and the geckos and all of that stuff, right?
Right.
And Leviticus is, they're listed as being, under the creeping things, right? Unclean. So
Yes.
a lot of people have them in their homes and all that,
Yeah.
not understanding, that they carry all type of
Yeah.
parasites and bacteria and all of that. So, they got them crawling around on their cabinets and the kids and
aquariums, got aquariums
Yes.
and all that. Yeah, and like I said before, they defile us with the Geico on TV. We sitting there looking at it, we being defiled right there. Ain't even understanding it. And so, like I said before, just like the cross, we done found out everything around the cross is abominable. But the man on the cross, he good. Same thing with this. We over in America, now you starting to find out everything you dealing with is abominable. But that's what he told us. I'm gonna cast you out of here, and then you're gonna go and pick up their ways and worship their gods. He ain't say you're gonna worship their gods, and then I'm gonna send my son. He said from the time that we get over there to the time he come and deliver us, we worshiping their gods. JC one of them. So it's so many truths to kill that story in the New Testament too. It ain't funny. So in 2024, and you still dealing with him, something ain't right. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else got anything? Everybody good?
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, and I'll see everybody tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Shalom, shalom, fam.
All right. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.